This might be a concept, or it might just be a design render. But either way, the way this Dacia Motorhome is laid out makes more sense than most RVs you can actually buy. Because instead of chasing luxury gimmicks or massive size, this focuses on something most campers forget completely: how people really live inside these things. Where you sit, where you sleep, where you cook, and how all of it fits together without feeling cramped. So let's slow this down, step inside, and break apart why this Dacia Motorhome, concept or not, is genuinely smarter than most RVs on the road today. Most RVs are built around size: bigger kitchens, bigger bathrooms, bigger beds, and on paper that sounds great. But in real life, bigger often just means heavier, more expensive, harder to drive, and, strangely, less comfortable. What makes this Dacia Motorhome interesting is that it doesn't try to impress you at first glance. The exterior is clean, modern, and very European in its design language. No aggressive lines, no fake rugged styling, just a compact motorhome that looks like it belongs on actual roads, not just Instagram thumbnails. From the outside, it feels practical, and that practicality carries straight into the interior. The moment you step inside, the first thing you notice is how open it feels. And not because it's massive, but because everything is placed where it actually makes sense. There's no wasted space pretending to be luxury. Every surface, every cabinet, every corner has a clear purpose. Let's start with the driving area. The cockpit feels more like a modern car than a traditional RV. The dashboard is simple, intuitive, and familiar. Physical buttons where you expect them. A central screen for navigation and controls. A wide windshield that makes the whole vehicle feel less intimidating to drive, especially for people who don't want to handle a bus-sized motorhome. This matters more than people realize, because if a camper is stressful to drive, you'll use it less. Simple as that. The seating position is upright and comfortable, with good visibility and a layout that doesn't overwhelm the driver. It feels like something you could drive for hours without feeling exhausted. And that's exactly what long road trips demand. Moving past the cockpit, the living space opens up in a way that feels deliberate. Instead of trying to cram in too many features, the design prioritizes flow. You can move from the seating area to the kitchen to the sleeping space without feeling like you're squeezing through narrow corridors. The seating area itself is compact but comfortable. It's not oversized, but it doesn't need to be. This is a space designed for sitting, eating, working, and relaxing, not pretending to be a living room from a luxury apartment. The table is well positioned, the seating is supportive, and the window placement brings in natural light without sacrificing privacy. Lighting is another detail this design gets right. Soft ambient LEDs are placed where they actually help, under cabinets, along edges, and near seating areas. Not harsh, not flashy, just enough to make the space feel calm and lived in, especially at night. Now, let's talk about the kitchen, because this is where a lot of campers completely fall apart. Instead of oversized countertops that look impressive but go mostly unused, this kitchen is compact and efficient. There's a proper cooktop, a sink, storage drawers that actually look usable, and even a dedicated space for a coffee machine. That might sound small, but it tells you exactly who this camper is designed for. People who actually live inside their RV, not just weekend tourists. Everything is within arm's reach. You don't have to shuffle around just to make a simple meal. And that makes daily life easier, especially on longer trips where small inconveniences add up fast. Storage is handled intelligently. Overhead cabinets are present, but they don't feel oppressive. The materials look lightweight, yet solid, and the layout avoids the cluttered feeling that many motorhomes suffer from. You can imagine packing this for a real journey without feeling like you're constantly fighting for space. As you move further inside, the sleeping area continues the same design philosophy. The bed doesn't try to be massive just for the sake of it. Instead, it's properly sized, well-positioned, and surrounded by practical storage and lighting. There's enough room to sleep comfortably without sacrificing the rest of the living space. Reading lights are placed where you'd actually need them. Windows bring in light without making the space feel exposed, and the overall atmosphere feels closer to a small hotel room than a traditional camper. This is where the smarter than most RVs idea really becomes clear, because most RVs force you to compromise constantly. You either get a good kitchen and a terrible sleeping area, or a big bed and a cramped bathroom, or a nice lounge but no storage. This design avoids those extremes by keeping everything balanced. Speaking of the bathroom, it's compact but realistic. It's not trying to be a spa. It's a functional wet room with proper waterproofing, ventilation, and enough space to actually use it comfortably. And in a camper of this size, that's exactly what you want. Nothing feels added just to check a box. Everything feels intentional. Even the materials matter here. The finishes are clean, modern, and easy to maintain. No overly shiny surfaces that show every fingerprint. No fragile design choices that would fall apart after a few trips. It feels built for real use, even if this specific version is just a concept or render. Performance-wise, while no engine details are officially shown, the design strongly suggests a diesel-based platform focused on efficiency rather than speed. This isn't a camper built for racing highways or climbing mountains. It's built for steady, comfortable travel. Long distances, relaxed driving, lower fuel costs compared to massive RVs. And that's another reason it makes sense. Because the reality is, most people don't need a huge motorhome. They need something manageable. Something that fits into parking spaces more easily. Something that doesn't feel stressful to operate. This Dacia Motorhome, concept or not, represents a mindset shift. Away from excess. Away from size for the sake of size. Towards smarter layouts, better flow, and more thoughtful use of space. It's the kind of camper that feels like it was designed by someone who actually spent time living in one. Someone who understands that comfort doesn't come from more square footage. It comes from better decisions. And that's why this design stands out. Because even if it never becomes a real production vehicle, it exposes a problem in the RV industry. Too many campers are built to look good on showroom floors instead of working well on real roads. This one feels different. It feels calm, logical, livable, and maybe that's why it's so interesting. Not because it's flashy, not because it's expensive, but because it quietly proves that smarter design beats bigger design almost every time. So whether this is a concept, a design render, or a glimpse into something Dacia might build in the future, it gets one thing absolutely right. This is how modern camper living should feel.